Hey, and welcome to the Star Wars show, where we talk about everything, anything, and all things Star Wars. This is State of the Galaxy, episode number 8. I should apologise for the quality of my voice during the next 2 or 3 podcasts. I had a cold, or something horrible, but I'm on the recovery now. So enjoy this brand new episode.
For centuries, Alderaan stood as a beacon of hope in the Republic. The Empire came.
I have chosen to test this station's destructive power on your home planet of Alderaan.
Peace while you suffer. The Emperor drowns you in black waters.
He wants me to be Darth Revan again. Serve him as I did centuries ago. He made me a Sith Lord and named me Darth Revan.
The Force does not control you. You saved humanity using something you thought was important. But your motives are still aligned with the Jedi Code.
To arms, men! Defend the throne!
Anakin Skywalker was weak. I destroyed him. He was weak and foolish like his father. So I destroyed him.
Master Windu, you have fought gallantly. Worthy of recognition in the archives of the Jedi. It is finished.
To them it is.
I have been waiting for you. Is it true that he is the chosen one?
I'm joined by my very good friend,
Guy,
There
hello.
we go. And today, once again, we're not going to touch on episode 8 because that's for our spoiler casts. But first of all, you mentioned in our spoiler cast that you haven't necessarily gone into the expanded universe books outside of stuff like the Old Republic, but you've recently been going into the Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
What have you been feeling so far with that?
I quite like Star Wars Rebels, actually. I mean, I've only watched the first... Spoiler alert, what's the season finale where Darth Maul and Vader and Ahsoka, is that the end finale of season 3?
2.
2. So I've watched all of the first 2 seasons, and I've
Yeah.
watched the first couple of episodes of season 3.
Okay.
That's the latest season, isn't it?
No.
There's a 4th as
There's
well.
a 4th season,
Oh, I need to
and
get
that's
caught up.
currently coming out.
Alright, so that is how far back I am with Star Wars
No.
Rebels, but I've enjoyed Star Wars Rebels, actually. It's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Fair enough, because
I assume they're all going to die because they don't turn up in any of the movies.
exactly, although you say that, they did.
I know that the ship turns up in The Force Awakens. Is it in no, it's in Rogue One.
One.
Yeah, I do remember seeing the little ship in Rogue One.
And apparently you see Chopper, the little droid, rolling around Yavin base. So
Because Rebels is canon.
it is, yes.
Which means, because Rebels hints back to quite a few things that happened in the Clone Wars,
And the Old
Clone
Republic.
Wars is technically canon as well.
They always had Clone Wars as canon.
Well, isn't it? But most of Clone Wars was pre-Disney, wasn't it?
It was, but they agreed to keep it.
Oh, right, okay.
So the current, in fact,
So official canon is all of the movies, Rebels and Clone Wars, right?
I have it here.
And any new fiction that's been produced since Disney bought it.
There we go. So that is current Star Wars canon.
So Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Clone Wars. Oh yes, Dark Disciple. I assume that's a book.
Yes, it is, and it's a very good one.
What's it about?
I think Dark Disciple is the one with Ventress and Quinlan Voss.
All right, I love Quinlan Voss.
He's
I'd
so
like to
cool.
learn a little bit more about him actually. Revenge of the Sith. Okay. Rogue One novel, Lords of the Sith, Tarkin Thrawn, New Dawn, Rebels, Rogue One, and obviously New Hope, Battle for Enter the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, Last Jedi. Okay, it's considerably shorter than when you read the expanded.
Indeed, yeah.
The expanded universe. What's it called? Legends now,
It's
isn't
called
it?
Legends now, yeah.
Yeah, the Legends timeline is like several pages long. Isn't it?
Indeed, it's insane. So that's how it stands at the moment. But the thing I worried about with Rebels, and I really worried when I saw the first couple of episodes, despite the fact that it's still being led by Dave Filoni,
It was almost like he was trying to find his feet again, like he did with Clone Wars. I mean, those first couple of episodes of Clone Wars, they all sucked.
Yeah, they weren't very good, were
No,
they?
because you had like the Jar Jar thing on. Oh, that was horrible. And
Good old Jar Jar. Nothing ruined Star Wars like Jar Jar.
you say that. Though.
No, I don't want to hear any. He's the secret Sith Lord things.
No, I wouldn't agree with that anyway. But have you seen the unfinished season 6 of Star Wars Clone Wars?
But you know what? I've only seen a couple of them. I basically watched the ones with Yoda in it.
Fair enough.
That
The
was
Yoda Chronicles were amazing.
It was so good.
So good. I enjoyed those. But there was I think it was a 2-parter with Mother Talisman from the Night Sisters, Mace Windu, and Jar Jar Binks. And Jar Jar Binks actually had a love interest, and it actually kind of worked.
Was she blind, deaf, and dumb?
She was like a subspecies of the Gungans. That's how I got it. But they were all Force sentient.
Yeah.
And it was almost like they were a split-off faction between the Jedi, almost like the Bendu from... I don't know if you got up to the Bendu yet.
That's the big cow thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So almost like him. So they don't use the Force for combat, that's how they learn, that's how they feel what's going on in the universe. And it kind of worked. It really kind of worked.
Maybe I'll have to go back. But still, I don't think one love interest on a double
No,
episode
no.
of the tail end of the Clone Wars is going to salvage my opinion of Jar Jar
No,
Binks.
absolutely, because there is lots of terrible... I just wanted to throw out that there was something.
Okay, there was
kind of
something
worked.
redeeming.
Yeah.
Oh no, he was good in Revenge of the Sith
Yeah.
because he didn't say
He
anything.
didn't say anything. The funeral scene. Something that I always bring out about that scene was, I don't know how well you remember it, but it goes from different shots. You've got Jar Jar looking very forlorn, you've got the Gungan king, you've got a couple of other senators, and then it focuses on a little girl. Do you know who that little girl is?
I'm trying to remember this. Is this the Padme scene?
Yeah, it's the funeral on Naboo.
Padme's funeral. No, I don't.
No, I'm not entirely sure, but it's one of two. Because I thought primarily it was Leia, but it was like, wait, so they've kept this corpse around for 6 years? That's
Yeah,
kind
that
of
doesn't make sense.
And you also see a man and a woman that you've never seen before walking along, and the camera really focuses on them. That turns out that's, I believe, actually Padme's sister and her husband. And there's a deleted scene in Attack of the Clones where she takes Anakin to her parents' house or something weird like that.
Right.
I'm so glad they scrapped it because it was awful and awkward and it was but that's where she...
Most of that film was awful, awkward, and
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of the few...
I know you're one of the few people that think that movie's not
entirely terrible.
Yeah.
And I think Tom and I did an episode purely on Attack of the Clones after we watched it. So do feel free to have a look at that and say what you think. But so you would only know about them through watching those delete scenes, which seems a bit ridiculous because obviously Attack of the Clones came out before Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
So it's not like they'd filmed that and then decided last moment after Revenge of the Sith stuff to say, oh no, wait, we don't want that. It just seemed really bizarre.
Yeah, it is weird.
So you're not minding Star Wars Rebels at the moment, that's good.
No, it's pretty good. I'm enjoying it.
I'm interested to hear later on what you think about Season 3 once you've watched that, because there is some stuff that sucks, but there's some stuff that's pretty good.
It's always been like that with Star Wars, though, isn't it?
It has, yeah.
Like, obviously we both love Star Wars, otherwise we wouldn't be sitting here having a chat about it.
Indeed, yeah.
But you can't. You have to accept that some things are stupid and suck.
Indeed, but what agitates me is because like you say with Rebels, they've started to bring back stuff from the Old Republic and the Clone Wars, especially like the Hammerhead gunships. They were cool.
Yeah.
They've resurrected an old character from the original Star Wars lore.
Yeah.
Do you know who that is? And if you do, you'll know it.
I know Obi-Wan turns up, doesn't he?
Well, he was in the hologram at the very first episode, and then yes, he does turn up later. But there's another character that they resurrect.
Resurrect? Is it like bring back to
well, not
life, or
necessarily-
just bring back?
Bring back.
Okay, right. I don't know.
I can give you a few pointers, and you may catch
Okay,
on.
give me some pointers.
He's blue.
Blue? Is in actually blue?
Actually blue.
Is in like skin blue?
As in skin blue.
Oh, they bring back Thrawn, don't
Yes,
they?
they do.
Which is interesting because they can't bring somebody back that's actually never been in it other than the expanded universe. That's
Well, yeah, but the
interesting.
expanded universe that no longer exists.
Yeah, that's what's interesting. Yes, no, I've seen a couple of the Thrawn episodes.
Yeah. So,
But they were ones where I was sitting down watching it downstairs, and the girlfriend flits in and out and criticises me for watching cartoons and talks to me throughout the whole thing, so I've missed a lot of it. I need to go back and rewatch those first couple of series 3 episodes.
That's fair enough, because the first ones are good, but there's stuff later, but I won't spoil it for you. So, something that I've always, and it's part of my personal Star Wars questionnaire, but we won't go into that because it's long and awful. One of the questions that I really like asking, though, is there are 4 factions for me of the Star Wars stories. You've got the Old Republic, then you've got the prequels, you've got the originals, and then you've got our new trilogy.
Yeah.
So I'm now going to change that. So when I say Old Republic, I'm going to say expanded universe overall.
Yeah.
Old legend stuff. Out of those 4, which one do you prefer? And why?
What do I prefer and why? I really like... You see, because when you say the expanded universe, I kind of have to stop there, because I've never read or looked into or researched. Well, I've done anything post-Jedi, really. So all of my Legends background is old stuff.
That's fine.
And I like the old stuff. I like the Old Republic.
It's very good.
I've got the Darth Bane trilogy.
Nice.
And that trilogy is excellent. It's so good.
I'll have to.
Yeah, I really recommend you read it. The Darth Bane trilogy and the whole thing about the creation of the Rule of Two and how he gets rid of all of the Sith and how he becomes a Sith, because he's not a kid to start off with. He's just a guy that works in a mine, right? It's very, very good, actually. The whole trilogy is good. The last book's not as good, I don't think.
No.
But the first 2 books in the trilogy are excellent.
Does that have Darth Zana in it?
Yes.
His apprentice?
Yeah, his apprentice. And she's really cool as well.
Because she was said by other characters within the Star Wars lore of being one of the most beautiful people in the galaxy.
Yeah, she was pretty smoking, apparently, from the pages, obviously, because, cover art's normally rubbish.
Yeah.
The cover art for those books is pretty bad, anyway. Sorry, cover artist, for those books.
No, fair enough. So would you say, then, that the expanded universe of what you've explored personally would be your favourite?
Yes, I really like the Old Republic. I've played Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. Knights of the Old Republic 1 is a phenomenal game. And Knights of the Old Republic 2 is really good as well. The story's not as good, but the characters are awesome, like Darth Nihilus and Darth Sion and Darth Traya. Like, they're excellent characters. The story's just a little bit weak compared to the original one. And I've played the Old Republic. I've still got my subscription, even though I haven't picked it up for like 2 months or something. Money going down the drain to BioWare. But that storylines, I really like that. Although obviously they're kind of writing themselves into a corner, I think, now with the whole Unseen Empire, or whatever it's
Eternal
called.
Empire.
That's it, the Eternal Empire. They're kind of writing themselves into a little bit of a corner, because how comes that's never come up anywhere before?
Yeah,
considering it's such a big deal.
No, fair enough.
You've got to go somewhere with it. And obviously the game's shrinking, but there's a hardcore player base that still play it a lot, and it's still making money. It's free to play, but people have still got subscriptions. People like me that don't play the game and just haven't cancelled the subscription because they're lazy. So it's still making money, and it hasn't gone into shutdown mode.
No.
And I've enjoyed all the expansions that I've played, and I've enjoyed like the class storylines, like for the original game, are awesome. Some of them are pretty naff. Like the last one I did was the Jedi Sage, and the class storyline for that was boring. Oh my god, was it boring. But some of them, I've heard, obviously I haven't played all of them, but some say the Imperial Spy is like one of the best storylines that's ever been written in a computer game ever.
Wow.
Like the Jedi Knight and the Sith storylines are excellent, and they kind of run concurrently to each other and they intertwine. Even though obviously you never see somebody from the opposing faction and meet up with them, their storylines kind of mesh. It's very, very well done. Considering it's an MMO, the fact that they've managed to do these class storylines so well is really good, actually. But just the lore they build up and like what the universe was like, and they tie in like the older races of the galaxy and where the hyperspace routes came from, and I find all that sort of stuff kind of interesting.
So there's 2 points I wanted to make on that front. If you do ever explore anything on the other side, this is where some of the problems start to arise. Because one thing that I could never get my head around was the I can't remember the name of the trilogy, but it had a Sith god essentially under the name of Jirua Sabayoth. and he took the severed arm or severed hand of Luke Skywalker and created a clone from that. But the clone's name was Luke Skywalker.
Yes, I've heard about that.
I hated that so much. As soon as I bought the books, haven't read them yet, but as soon as I heard that, it's like, I'm not going to like this.
You see, the thing about it is, this is going to upset people.
I'll go for it.
But I don't care. Like, anything that's, and this is going to be really cynical,
No, go for it.
anything that is not in the movies
Yeah.
is fan fiction.
Yes.
So the fact that it's expanded universe and people love it, it's fan fiction.
Yeah.
You know, it's written by people. People wouldn't write about Star Wars, even if it was their job. They wouldn't write about Star Wars if they didn't like Star Wars. So they take their characters where they want to take the characters, and that is
Yeah,
the very
absolutely.
definition of fan fiction. You know, unless it's written by George Lucas or now by Disney,
Yeah.
it's not canon.
No.
Doesn't mean it's not good. And I'm
it's
sure some of those post-Jedi storylines are really good, and I've heard some of them are really good and
Some
excellent.
of them are very good.
But it doesn't stop it being fan fiction, even
No.
if it's fan fiction that's been commissioned and paid for.
Fair enough. And the other thing I wanted to bring up, you said you've read some of the Old Republic stuff. Have you read the Revan book?
No, I haven't read the Revan book yet.
There's
I've
a-
heard it's awful, though.
See, that's the thing. Lots of people hate it. It's actually my favourite book of all.
Really?
I'm not sure whether it's just because it's Revan.
I like Revan, he's awesome.
I don't know whether it's kind of like a spin-off the issue that I have with that Marvel series,
Which one? There's been so many.
Something Jones.
Jessica.
There we go, Jessica Jones. Where I probably only like that because David Tennant was in it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's the same kind of problem that is faced, but yeah, you're right. Revan's amazing, and the story that it goes through is very Star Wars, where it's like with verses of good and evil. It's very core.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of deviation, but it's with the new characters, so it kind of has a Force Awakens feel about it,
Yeah.
where you have the same kind of story but a play with new characters.
Have you read the Darth Plagueis book?
I started it. I loved what they were doing with Plagueis' master, and at the very beginning, because it's kind of like it's an epilogue at the beginning, where it does kind of like a flash to
Yeah.
what happens with Plagueis in the end, and how Sidious was just terrified that his master was not dead.
Yeah.
I really love that.
Yeah. I mean, I've read that book a couple of times, actually, and I really like it.
Yeah.
It makes... Again, this is the problem. It makes episode 1 better. It's like, you shouldn't have to read a book
No,
to make episode 1 better.
because I've heard a lot of people say this, and I'm not sure if it's this book that created this theory, but does it speculate that a ritual between Plagueis and Sidious took place that created Anakin?
It's hinted at, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's experimenting with midichlorians to create life.
Yeah,
And
through doing that may
Through
have
doing that may have created
Anakin.
Anakin, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's hinted at. Maybe it's explicitly stated. I can't honestly remember. But yeah, if I knew, that would be a spoiler alert. You have to
It
read
would,
the book.
yeah, indeed. No, fair enough. So we'll get into the Star Wars questionnaire if that's all right with you.
Yeah,
I will
sure.
try my best to ask these questions.
Because I've been talking a lot to save your voice, you know.
That's very kind of you, thank you. So, if I can find the questions, this looks like I'm missing a page. There we go. So this was a questionnaire that was made viral among Star Wars fans about 4 years ago when I did my version of it.
Yeah.
It's very basic to start off with and it gets more in detail. So first question, would you be a Jedi or would you be a Sith?
I'd probably be a grey Jedi.
Yeah, so somewhere in between.
Yeah, I couldn't see myself sticking rigidly to the Jedi
No,
code
because
it
that
does
means
seem-
no possessions, no love, no nothing.
Well, exactly, and I like my stuff, right? But it's not just that. It's like inflexibility is what led to the Jedi's downfall.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the Sith as well. The Sith's inherent selfishness
Yeah.
leads to their self-destruction.
Yeah.
The only reason, essentially, the only reason that they won is because, one, the rule of two strictly limited the way that they behaved,
Yeah.
and two, Darth Sidious was just awesome, you know?
Yeah, fair play.
So I would probably sit in the middle and be like a grey Jedi.
Fair enough. What is your favourite world or planet?
My favourite world or planet? That's difficult.
And you could, of course, dive into old lore and stuff like that.
Just my favourite planet. That is really tricky.
It's a bit vague, isn't it, really? Because it's
Exactly. It's like what? Like for a holiday destination, if I wanted to get a tan, I'd go to Tatooine.
Yeah, because you
right?
get one hell of a tan there.
Exactly. You get one hell of a tan. You know.
Maybe the stormtroopers never hit that house.
Maybe.
They were just going.
They just didn't put on their factor 500. You're like, oh no. Owen brew. That's what the blue milk does, right?
My
it
gosh.
adds UV to them, right? They ran out of blue milk.
Shame.
I haven't actually answered your question.
No, that's all right.
I like. Oh, see, it's so difficult. I like Naboo. It's pretty.
Yeah, I think
you know?
Naboo's on my lineup.
You see, because the problem with most Star Wars planets is most Star Wars planets are the entire planet's like
Is
this.
the
You're like,
seal.
Endor is just forest. You're like, that's not sustainable.
No.
Tatooine is just deserts. You're like, is it really? Then everybody would be dead because that's not how life works. Hoth is a complete ice bucket. All the planets are like one thing. Coruscant is a giant city.
But remember, Coruscant was artificially built.
Yes, but it's still a giant city.
It is, yeah.
Naboo is the only one that seems to have different bits.
Yeah, different bits, yeah.
Even if the core of the planet is like solid, is solid liquid. That's stupid. That's called ice. Is like completely liquid, which doesn't make sense. Through the planet core, because we don't know how geography works. You
would be vaporized.
You would be vaporized, but
Apparently that worked.
Apparently that worked. There's always a bigger fish.
Indeed. So Naboo, nice choice. I think mine were Bespin because of its beautiful sunsets. Naboo, like you say, because it's got a nice variety. I can't remember what my other one was. I think I had another one. Alderaan.
Alderaan, yes. I forgot Alderaan, yeah.
Because in the Old Republic it expands on that, and there is kind of a bit of deviation. It isn't just foresters.
But it's pretty alpine.
Yeah.
It's an alpine planet, and it's all alpine planet.
With flying space whales.
Yeah.
No, fair play. So this one's the one that goes into a bit of detail. We're going to first hit up the first...
I went into too much detail on the generic questions, let alone the detailed questions. How long have we got?
That's alright, it's fine. So, lightsaber type and colour.
Oh, that's interesting. You see...
And you can, of course, bring in some of the stuff that left, like the lightsaber weapons and stuff if you...
I really like... Dooku's got one, but Darth Bane had the curved lightsaber hilt. And
Yes.
that gave him an edge against other people because they were
It
very
did.
unused to fighting against people that wielded their blade in that particular way.
Yeah.
So I'd go for the curved handled blade
hilt,
like
yeah.
Dooku and Bane. But in terms of my favourite colour, that's difficult because I really like the badassness of the purple lightsaber.
And what it
I
means is quite cool.
also like the colour purple anyway.
No, fair play.
But that's very yeah, sod it, go for purple. Let's keep it nice and simple. I was a bit forever.
No, that's right. And in terms
Purple hook blade.
of the blade,
Mace Dooku blade.
would it be a regular hilt, regular blade, or would it be a lightsaber shoto, which was Yoda's shorter one?
Yeah.
Or would it be like Vader's? I think it was Vader's, who could extend and retract his blade during combat.
Probably. It depends on how it would affect your fighting style. Because
Yeah.
I can't remember what fighting style utilises the curved blade most effectively.
We're going to go into that now.
I know we're going to go into all the different lightsaber styles.
Yeah.
Although if you're going to be a grey Jedi, right, it's got to be Vapad, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, are you a Sith Lord? I'm going to defeat you easily with your own power, scumface.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'd probably just go for regular blade length.
Yeah.
Because using that blade is quite difficult anyway.
Indeed.
Having the added bonus or drawback of being able to extend your blade if you're particularly excited about
It's
the
more of
fight
it's more of a distraction than
would
anything
be a
else.
bit of a distraction.
Indeed. So fair enough. Curved hilt, purple blade, nice. So we're going to go into the combat styles. Do you need me to go through them again, or?
Yes, because there's 7, isn't there? Or is it-
Yes.
yes,
There are
7.
7. So Shicho, which is like classic sword fighting,
Yeah.
was only really used for younglings when they were being taught.
So we're not going to do that one.
No,
because
I
we're
mean,
not
it's all
younglings.
for big groups of enemies, but that's about it. Users include Kit Fisto and Yoda.
Yeah.
Marcus Sheet which is the dual-focused one, is focused on timing and accuracy and elegance. And one of the users was Count Dooku, where it's almost like you're dancing to mock.
That's the dueling.
Well, yeah, I mean, most of these are focused on dueling in some
Well,
sense.
what's the one for mass blaster opponents though?
I think it might be Shien. It's a two-part Tajemso and Shien. And it might be with one. So not Markushu. Sarisu. Okay, so it was either Sarisu or that one. Sarisu is a defensive, which uses subtle dodges and is useful. It's because it uses very little energy. It was the same kind of one that Obi-Wan used against General Grievous, where he kept his blade very close to his chest.
Yeah.
Because he obviously didn't want to lose limbs.
Yeah.
So that's that one. Ataru is an aggressive fighting style, and it relies on the Force with wild swings and acrobatics.
Yeah.
Users include Yoda and Ahsoka, but I personally feel that Vader used it quite a lot.
I think Anakin did as well.
Yeah, well, that would make sense, as he needed to utilise some of his previous training. And then 5, the two-parter, Tajemso and Shien. Shien is the defensive one.
Was an Obi-Wan good with that one as well?
I think he may have been, yeah. But it also integrates launching powerful counterattacks to deflect blaster fire. And then the Tajemso part is the lightsaber dueling, powerful counterattacks, slowly focusing on defensive strategy. So there's a bit of defense and attack in that one. Nyman, which is all the styles blended together.
Yeah, it's just like jack of all trades, master of none.
Master of none. Users of that was actually Obi and Maul. I think it's Geo for this one. Again, a two-parter. First part is Fisher's fighting form, which was actually restricted in the Jedi Order for a time, and the users.
Wasn't that the one, the dual blade?
I think it may have been, yeah. I mean, if you're fighting with two blades, that's Jarkai, dual blade fencing.
No, I'm talking saber staff.
The saber stuff, yeah. I think
Darth Maul thing, because that was frowned upon by the Jedi anyway, wasn't it? The dual blades.
Yeah. And then the second part, which is Vapad, is the furious channeling out of the inner darkness during the duel. Users Mace Windu. So which one would you go for?
It's difficult because Vapad's just badass.
It is, yeah. I think that's what I chose when I did this.
But I'd probably also go for the defensive one.
What, the more defensive one, the one that integrated an attack as well?
Yeah, I think so.
So that was...
Because there's a... they talk about it in the Bane books. Darth Zana, she's got a double-bladed lightsaber, but it's shorter as well, so it's kind of... It's like, not a double-bladed Shoto. It's slightly longer than a Shoto.
Is there a lightsaber pike?
No, it's not a pike either, because a pike's just got one blade end. So it's a double-bladed lightsaber like Darth Maul's, but it's not as long. But she uses defense. So when she battles against other Jedi in the book, no spoilers. When she battles against Bane, no spoilers. She basically creates this impenetrable defensive whirling blade that people just can't penetrate, and it's very efficient as well. So she can spin her she expends very little energy in defending herself from multiple attacks from multiple directions and stuff like that. And the image of that was awesome. So whichever one best fits that description, that's probably the one to go for. Okay. Even though I have selected the Curvy Hill blade one.
No, that's fair. I mean, it sounds like you're integrating parts of Nyman with the kind of jack of all trades thing, but also then Genso and Shien. So you've got a bit of both going in there. Okie doke. Wherever my question's gone. So that's that one. Favourite species within the Star Wars universe?
Favourite species?
I think I had two. I think one of them was the Ewoks for some reason. I don't know why I did that.
Because you like small furry creatures that can bring down empires with spears and stones.
What can I say?
He's always rooting for the little guy.
Indeed.
I don't know, my favourite species. I really like Wookiees.
Yeah.
They're like the unsung heroes of Star Wars. I think Chewbacca's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, they live really long, they're really strong, they're really loyal. You know, they pull your arms out of your sockets when they lose. I really like Wookiees.
Yeah.
Who else were they? I really like... I know they're basically humans. Mandalorians are cool.
Yeah.
Even though they are kind of assholes.
They are, yeah. there's not a lot. It's kind of cool that you've chosen two very opposing factions where the Wookiees have a lot of loyalty and the Mandalorians have barely any.
Barely any, yeah.
It's just almost loyalty to the one who is Mandalore the ultimate at that point. But even then, there's
That's
backstabbing
fluid too.
Indeed, yeah. So fair enough. Two very nice different factions. What is your favourite vehicle within the Star Wars universe? Now, when I've asked this question, it's not so much... There's two answers I feel like can be given. There's the one that you want to see in action, and then there's the one that you personally would like to have. Because I love to see the TIE Fighter in action, but I personally feel like that would be horrible to pilot.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. My favourite ship... Oh, God, I can't remember its name. Dash Render's ship from Heirs to the Empire. It kind of looks like the Millennium Falcon, but it's flatter and longer.
It's a Carillion freighter.
It's a Carillion freighter, and I can't remember its name. It's probably something like... something with a bird name.
Yeah.
Because they all are. You know, you've got... what's his name? Kyle Katarn's ship was called the Ebon Hawk. You know, you've got the Millennium Falcon. You've got, I don't know, the Century Griffin or whatever, because that's what they do, isn't it? I can't remember what it was called, but it did have a cool name. But yeah, that.
Would that be the one that you'd want to pilot, though, or the one you'd most like to see in action?
Both.
Okay, both. Perfect.
There will now be a brief intermission, and when I say brief, I mean a week. But hopefully join us next week for part 2 of this podcast with myself and Guy. Enjoy.